The time is finally here. The Rams are playing the 49ers tomorrow, and these are going to be my final game predictions for that game. Let's get into the video. So to kind of bury the lead here, these are going to be my predictions, and I'll come back to those in a second, but I do want to preview the game very quickly just so that we all know where I stand and everything. So first off, we're going to go by PFF. I just like to look at PFF stuff just because they don't just base it solely off statistics. Say Christian McCaffrey has a 80-yard run and then has like 20 rushing yards on 20 different carries, and it has 100 yards for 20 carries. Yeah, that 80-yard run was awesome. However, he literally had 1 yard per rush. I'm not saying he did this last week. I'm just saying a lot of people look at statistics and just see, 20 carries for 100 yards, that's very, he did amazing, and when in reality he just had one big run and then really sucked the rest of the game. So I like to look at PFF because it takes everything into account. So that's the reason why I often bring up PFF. But anyways, looking at the team metrics, the 49ers actually rank third overall in the league. Their defense ranks first in the league. However, they did play the Steelers, so that is going to be a much worse team than the Rams playing the Seahawks. But their power rank on offense, 7th, and then strength of schedule, they say that the Steelers were 15th, but I don't know how you looked at that first half and graded the Steelers anywhere above second or third worst in the league. But either way, the Rams, they rank 16th overall. The reasoning is because they were 25th on defense. In the first half, the Rams were atrocious. The second half, the Rams defense was a whole different defense and played amazing. And then the power rank on offense, we actually rank above the 49ers at 6th. And the strength of schedule is 24th, but we've only played one game, so the strength of schedule really doesn't mean anything. In terms of the best bets, the betting odds, they have the value on the Rams at 7.5. Really, any team at 7.5 is going to have the value because you have to win by more than a touchdown, which is very hard to do in the NFL. They have the Rams at plus 265 as their better bet, and then the over-under is 45, so that indicates a game of about 24 to 21 is what this line is giving us. Or if a team's going to win by 7, like they say, that would be a game of I believe 28 to, no, it's even more. So it'd be more like 20. I don't even want to do this math right now, if I'm going to be completely honest. Like 27 to 18 or something like that, or 17. 27 to 17 is kind of what they're kind of expecting for this over-under. But either way, if we look at the green line, PFF has the Rams at plus 6.5 as the better bet compared to the market being at 7.5. So they're saying that the value is more with the Rams here. For the over-under, PFF actually has this as a higher scoring game, which is what I'm going to have it at as well, at 46, which is going to be a bit higher than the market at 45. So they expect kind of the over to be the better bet here. In terms of win probability, they have the 49ers at 72%, the Rams at 27%. For the best bets that PFF gives, they have the Rams spread. They have a 3.7% edge right here. Actually, they expect Matthew Stafford to not throw any interceptions with a 9% edge. So that's a very solid number there if you're looking to bet unders on interceptions or overs. And they have Brock Purdy at an over 0.5 interceptions with a 3% edge. So that means they expect Brock Purdy to probably throw an interception and Matthew Stafford to not, which is interesting because if Brock Purdy does throw an interception and Matthew Stafford doesn't, I would expect that to lean the Rams' way, especially since we are at home. And that's something I also want to mention. We're at home, guys. Brandon Ayuk, they expect his under to have a better edge on his yards, so less than 60 yards. And then Christian McCaffrey, they expect the under on rushing yards as well, which I do too. So that's kind of what we're looking at best bets. Taking a look at both these teams. The 49ers have a great defense. What I'm really scared of is their defensive line. Now, I'm really not afraid of I don't even know how to say his name, Clelin Ferrell. He has been kind of atrocious, and the Rams have picked on him in the past. He was a fourth selection in the first round of 2019. However, he did have a good first game, but he has really never played all that well. Now, I am afraid of Javon Hargrave. He has torn up the Rams in the past, and also, of course, Nick Bosa. I believe he just got paid. this is a scary defensive line. However, the Rams line looked amazing. They let up 0 sacks, and I expect them to do something similar. Obviously, Matthew Stafford probably going to get sacked, once or twice in this game, and we'll go into my predictions in a second. But Steve Avila looked like the best guard in the league. I don't care what the PFF grade says. If you go watch his tape, he played absolutely amazing this past week. The 49ers linebackers, of course, Fred Warner didn't play all that well against the Steelers. However, he is a normal best linebacker candidate in the league. And then they have a good, they have a good secondary with Hufanga and also Charvarius Ward. These players have been very good in seasons past, but I think we can definitely pick on Lenore here, as well as I'm really not seeing anything crazy from Tayshaun Gibson, and I think we'll be able to pick on him a bit. So Puka Nacua, Tutu Atwell, get after him. And that being said, Tutu Atwell and Puka Nacua both ranking top 10. Nacua 5th as wide receiver. Stafford ranked as the number 2 quarterback this past week. We won't even have to go into that. And then Kyron Williams is actually above Cam Akers there. In terms of defense, the Rams secondary looking much better, than their PFF grades allude to. A lot of this is coming from the first quarter or first half, where Darion Kendrick did get beat very badly by DK Metcalf for their touchdown. But for the rest of the game, Ahkello Witherspoon, Darion Kendrick locked up, and Russ Yeast, sophomore, he looked amazing, and Jordan Fuller also looked good. Ernest Jones had 3 tackles for loss, and Byron Young was looking extremely good, getting a lot of pressure on the quarterback. And Aaron Donald, he's Aaron Donald. So in terms of, the 49ers, Ayuk looked amazing. I'm going to be honest. Deebo Samuel also played well. Purdy played well, and McCaffrey had a day. However, I really am not scared of their offensive line, so that's why I think we're going to be able to contain McCaffrey. I don't think we're going to be able to just stop him completely and hold him under like 40 yards, but I think we're going to be able to contain him. George Kittle did not look impressive at all. I think his fantasy was like one of the worst for expected like tight ends. So Brock Purdy doesn't scare me too much. Maybe he should. He doesn't scare me. And that leads me into my predictions. So Puka Nacua is Cooper Kupp. And, that is to say, these are lofty predictions for this specific prediction, but I think he has over 100 yards and 1 touchdown. He did it last week, and I think Matthew Stafford is going to be on a roll. They are out to prove people wrong right now. They're still 7-point dogs at home. I think Puka Nacua is going to be an outlet for Matthew Stafford, and I think he is going to do well and even score his first touchdown. I think Tutu Atwell does well too. Maybe he has like 70, 80 yards. Matthew Stafford dominates over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. Maybe one to one of the backs, either Cam Akers or Kyron Williams, and then maybe to Tyler Higbee or Tutu Atwell, or even Van Jefferson I could see as well, but I think Puka is definitely going to be one of those touchdowns. I think the offensive line plays really well again. I think we limit it to less than 3 sacks. I think they're going to have 1 to 2 sacks here, but I really think, Nick Bosa is going to get his, but I don't think they're going to be able to get the pressure that they need to stop Matthew Stafford, and Matthew Stafford played it very smart last week, so I think he's going to help the line out in that way too. Next up, Aaron Donald dominates. I think he gets a sack and 2 tackles for loss and gets a lot of pressure on Brock Purdy. This is just something that, Aaron Donald, when the time arises where we're getting counted out, he comes up, and I think he's going to do that this week. I think Kobe Durant's going to get an interception. I think someone on this defense is going to get an interception. I just want to be able to try to call it out and say it's Kobe Durant, but it could be Russ Yeast. It could be, Jordan Fuller. It could be any of our secondary, but I think, or maybe even Ernest Jones. But I think Kobe Durant's going to get it done and get that interception. Then finally, I think the Rams are going to hold Christian McCaffrey to less than 70 yards. Personally, I think that's just where we're at. Christian McCaffrey is going to get his. He's going to run, and the Rams' run defense was okay this past week, but it needs to be a lot better. But I think we can contain him, and I think we do contain him. And I think the Rams are going to get out to an early lead, and the 49ers are going to want to throw rather than run. But all that being said, I think the Rams win 31-28. So I like the over here personally. But what do you guys think in the comment section below? Let me know. And then also make sure that you guys leave a like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys after the Rams 49ers game. Peace.